fantastic because that tells me that if you're nosy about sports, you're going to know about sports. If you love entertainment, you're reading journals that no one else is reading, and you're ahead of the game. So when you're nosy, when you're curious, when you are trying to just grasp all the material you can, you will be better for your employer, and you'll be more ready in the case of, say, an interview. I tell people all the time that if they don't really go to the movies because they're too busy, then are you current? Is there no time for that in your life? Or the last movie they saw was on DVD and it was 2 years ago? Then I'm not quite buying that you love show business and you want to be an entertainment reporter. Try to teach you everything I possibly can. I have to know that you really care. I don't need someone who wants to be around. Years ago when NSYNC walked by and she started shaking and almost fell over because her favorite band was in proximity of her. I've had someone who had to try to reach, in standing next to Tom Hanks or something, but it's something you get over pretty fast because you're there to do a job. So I will quiz you and I will ask questions about show business history, not just about, I won't ask you just to complete the sentence, keeping up with the right. And if that's the only answer that you can give me on the quiz, you're not going to be in my unit. Plus. But when it comes to covering show business, it's like knowing who a big basketball star is today, but do you know who somebody was 10 or 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that was big in the industry? So whatever field you're interested in, you need to know it. You need to...
Why are you listening? You're doing what works for you. They had a little small house in Australia. They were getting to kayak every day. It was not your typical mainstream idea of success, but it worked for them. And so as you go forward, producing, let's flip that around. I need you. You're a great storyteller. I need you to be a reporter. I don't like being in the field. I don't like being around this person. I like sitting at a computer and finding the good stories and sending people out. Just because somebody tells you need to go out in the field and tell that story, that may not work for you. You may need to be in the studio. You may need to be in there producing. That may work. Sacrifices as a person to move forward in my career. I love my mother and my father and my brother and my sister, and I love my friends that I had in Monroe, Louisiana, and I left every single one of them. They all are elsewhere in the country. I had to leave. Not because I wanted to, but because I knew, again, there's so many people who have impacts on your life. There was a sports director in Monroe, Louisiana, who walked away from my family. And I sat there and listened to him say that, and I'm like, I am not going to be in Monroe, Louisiana 50 years from now and say, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. I need to find out if I could. I need to find out if I should. So they didn't like the product. It wasn't you selling them the car. They didn't like the car. In this job, they don't like you. And you have to be willing to accept that. You have to be willing to accept that. When I apply for jobs throughout my career, I need them to like me. They've liked me 4 times. I've sent out hundreds of and gotten fired once. So it is a specific sacrifice you have to make. Job security, you have to have thick skin, and you have to have a belief that this is what's going to work for you in this business. And they're going to look at it and they're going to go, I like the way this person looks, I like the way that person looks, I don't, I do, I like that story, I don't like that story. Do not give them a reason to put your tape aside that doesn't involve you. In other words, how many of you guys edit? How many guys you see video? You do iPhone videos and all this kind of stuff. Right. Okay, you've seen something maybe where you're shooting and your hand bumps a little bit. But being on TV had nothing to do with that. It was just the storytelling and the job. All right?
And he's right about that. That's the sacrifice, right? So what if, you have family, you have these other things planned. Well, guess what? You don't get those things. When something breaks, you're going. And that's the job you signed up for.
Pack a bag.
Pack a bag. You're going to go. And so that's kind of what we love so much about this job. I say we're kind of adrenaline junkies, right? We like that breaking news. We like to always be go, 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 go. You have to have the right kind of mindset for that and know that that's what it's going to be. And it's hard work. Everybody thinks it's fun and cool to be on TV, but there's a lot of hard work that goes into doing that job and to look so calm and composed. But as you see Philip, when they're up there doing chases and doing these breaking news, you're on constantly. When you're out at the scene, for me, you're running left and right. You got to find the witnesses. You got to find the cops. You got to find out what's happening. You got to get the video. And guess what? I have that deadline looming in 2 minutes. And it's a deadline. I don't make that, I don't have a job. I have to be on the air at that moment when they say, I hit at 4 o'clock, I better be there at 4 o'clock. You do not miss slot.
And that's a sacrifice as well that I talk about. My job, I never am unaware of the time of day, ever. And here's why I say that. When my alarm clock goes off in the morning at 3:15, I hit the snooze once, and I know in 5 minutes my phone alarm is going to go off at 3:20. I turn that one off so I don't wake up my wife and children. I will get out of bed, and I know I have to immediately go get in the shower. I immediately have to get my stuff ready. I live 1 mile away from work, so that helps. I have to be at work by 3:45 because we start at 4:30. And oh, by the way, I need to be getting my makeup at 4 because there are 3 other people who are also getting makeup. At 4:30 we start, we go until 7. And as soon as 7 is over, I got to watch out for 7:25, 7:55, 8:25, 8:55 because that's a cut-in in Good Morning America. Then I immediately have to start looking for 10:45, which is the next cut-in, and then I have to look for the 11 a.m. Now you might think at noon I get to, no worries. Nope, because I have to go to bed at 9 o'clock or 9:30. And I have to do that. Because if I don't get in bed, it doesn't start the next morning in a very good way. She wakes up, and she doesn't even know what her assignment is yet. But the clock has already begun. Because when she comes on money, that's where she helps, where I help. It's a team effort, because the producer might get in her ear and say, Leanne, I know I told you earlier today you have 1.5 minutes. You got 1:15. Really tight on time. Don't talk to Leanne. You got to get to her quickly. So I just look at my script and I go, okay, all right, let's go to Leanne. So you speed everything up. And it's all because the clock never stops.
Never stops.
Never stops. But again, I love that. I love that. For the days that it's perfectly done. They pay us for the days when it's crazy. And we make it look like it was perfectly done.
For the breaking news. All around you.
No, we ran out of time for questions last time, so let's make sure we give plenty of time
make
for
sure you guys
questions
have
if you guys haven't.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the importance of a formal degree versus...
It doesn't have to be, specifically in journalism. It's a good thing if that's what you want to go to, but that also is a good degree for other things you might want to do in print or whatever. But I say having a degree is important. And work experience is key. I will say on that, when you're in school, do as many internships as you can, everywhere. Do one at the radio, do one at the TV station, do one at the newspaper. See what aspect of the job you like, and when you're...
Which Phantoms, if you guys know, their cameras can shoot up, upwards of 500 frames to 1,000 beyond that. So it's more of a specialty use. I also always tell people to, especially for student filmmakers or people interested in doing this, it's one of the most overused features. It's one of those things where people do it and they don't realize that it doesn't have any effect or add anything to the scene that they're trying to shoot. Or they go too slow.
Yeah, see, that was only 3 seconds and it's been going for... Any questions on high speed? A lot of techniques in cinematography can be overused, like steady cams and dolly shots and handheld shakiness, which could be way overdone. Like, what was the first
There are some tools, but there are not great tools. Your sound designer and your mixer have these tools to reduce background hums and stuff, depending on their frequency. But I would choose the better performance, and that performance is key, you guys. As a film editor, performance is performance first, every day. And I'm going to let my mixers and my sound guys worry about the sound problem. And if it's just too much, if the sound can't be fixed, then we go to ADR and we try to replace that. But
Okay, Dave, say and spell your name.
Oh, you'll hold it, okay. My name is Dave Brill, B-R-I-L-L, common spelling on the first name, and I am the Department Chair for Media Entertainment Arts here at College of the Canyons.
Talk about the event today.
Well, the event is called Media Day. It is actually the fourth time we've done this event. This is actually our third because we actually do it in conjunction with West Ranch High School. My equal over at West Ranch is Jennifer Overdevest, so she and I are the co-coordinators of the event. Anyway, it started 6 years ago, very small. We got involved in 2010. 3 years ago was the last time we did this, and I was just telling another person down the hall that during that event we had about 130 students or so, and this one's probably close to triple that. So it's a very exciting day, an opportunity obviously to get folks from the industry, from all of our disciplines, which includes animation, filmmaking, new media journalism, sound arts, you know, in the building, all in 2 floors, and so students can ask all sorts of questions of these folks.
And how's the response been?
Response has been tremendous. I've you know run into students. Well, first of all, let me back up. The response heading into this event has been tremendous because we knew that when we had more signups online when we were doing pre-registration, we knew that there was obviously a buzz with this event, and I know that students were stopping me in the halls leading up to this event. Hey, can't wait to see what's going on. Can't wait to meet certain people. And of course, now that the day is here, the buzz up and down the hallways has been tremendous. In fact, it's kind of we're kind of a victim of our own success in that we've got so many good presenters here. I think the students are trying to figure out which rooms to go into and which ones they have to skip. So.
Okay, and more information. This is going to continue on. You're going to keep doing this.
Absolutely. We have talked about doing this about every 2 years. We like to keep it fresh, and obviously it's a tremendous ask of the people that are here. I would say our presenters in particular to be here and to be talking about their careers. So, it's a great thing for both. I think for both students and presenters. I was just telling somebody earlier that as someone who has been in the industry and is in education, one of the things that I enjoyed when I was in college was getting an opportunity to hear from industry professionals. It really made a difference. And now that I'm on the other side of it, as an industry professional, it is really, I think, terrific to what I say, pay it forward and actually, impart information to these folks so that they can make some educated choices as they go forward with their future.
More information. Where can people go?
For the next one.
Okay. Check on the mic. I'll hold it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. See, that is something I've learned.
Say and spell your name.
My name is Jennifer Overdevest. My last name is Overdevest.
Okay, and your title.
I am video production teacher at West Ranch High School.
Where did this come from?
Oh, I don't know the exact year. I think it was 2008. Where it came from, it was an idea that I came up with years ago. And the idea was we live in a valley rich with so many people in this industry. And then teaching this, there's so many kids who want to learn about this industry. And so instead of trying to bring in one at my school and one at this school, I'm like, let's get them all together for one day and do a one-day session where as many kids from this valley can learn. And we've done that now, 6-7 years ago, and now it has grown into, we now partner with COC, and Dave Brill and I have this great relationship where he's got a lot of my students, and so we've worked together to really get these kids together. Now it's huge now to have both. We have 7th graders all the way through college now coming here to learn from professionals, and we just love that idea.
And expand on that.